Vance Roberts and Paul Jackson, half-brothers, entirely sadistic. Together they cruised the streets of Portland, preying on young women, overpowering them, chaining them to the bed of their truck, and holding them captive in their twisted playhouse of perversion.
I think if this story was made as a movie, it would be roundly criticized for being so awful that no one should tell this story. And it really happened to people.
Inside the house, detectives found shocking evidence of depravity. Graphic bondage magazines, a manual on how to kill, and handwritten notes on other women they were stalking.
According to some notes I found, looked like he was scouting reports. He wrote little notes about young female, 30th and Sandy, another one at this location. It looked like he was out looking for future victims.
The next victim.
Yeah, before his brother would come into town.
At least one of the men wore a mask, and according to Andrea Hood, both called each other Bill to conceal their identities.
Both of these women thought they were going to die. What happened to them was awful, and they thought it was leading to a hastily dug grave somewhere outside of Portland, Oregon.
If not for Andrea Hood's dramatic escape, which led police to identify another victim, Michelle Derrick, the depraved duo may have gotten away with their heinous crimes.
And really, in a way, she's my hero. Because if it wasn't for her, the house may have never been identified.
But sickening pictures found inside the house revealed even more victims.
They made them smile. They liked to take Polaroid pictures of them in different positions and different places. But they always made them smile like they were
like a prize.
Happy. Yeah.
Who are these young women, and could they have suffered an even worse fate? Before the two brothers could answer, they skipped bail, predators on the run from justice. U.S. Marshal John Moody was tasked with finding the fugitives.
We fielded tips all over the country. I have a book, just a binder filled with tips from every state.
But weeks turned into months, months into years, and still no sign of the suspects.
I was definitely hopeful, and you just start hitting a lot of dead ends, and it kind of takes the wind out of the sail, so to speak.
Michelle and Andrea did their best to move on with their lives, but spent every day living in fear.
Were you always looking over your shoulder?
Oh, yeah. I was really concerned about my safety, my husband's safety, the safety of my home, my loved ones, because of the horrific things they had done to me. I had no reason to believe that they were going to stop at me.
16 years passed when suddenly, out of the blue, Vance Roberts walked into a Portland police station.
I got a call, and it was from the jail, and they said, Vance Roberts just turned himself in on our warrant, and our file shows that you are to be notified immediately. And I go, are you sure? I'm going, he turned himself in?
Even more shocking, Roberts claimed he had been living on the streets and sleeping under bridges for the last 16 years.
So I said, let me see your hands. So he showed me his hands. They weren't weathered. They were, well-groomed. He hadn't been living on the street.
Where do you think he was staying?
Good question. I think family somehow was still assisting him.
But the most surprising twist is why Roberts chose to stop hiding.
There's a statute of limitations in Oregon. If you're not brought to trial within a short period of time, like 5 years, you can beat the statute of limitations. Unfortunately for him, he didn't read all of the statute. Once you leave the state, the clock stops.
You could prove he was out of state?
Oh yeah, because the car that he left, his brother and him drove away in, was found by the FBI in Phoenix, Arizona in a storage shed.
He's thinking the statute of limitations ran out.
I think so.
He was wrong.
He was wrong.
After nearly 2 decades, Vance Roberts, the suspected ringleader in the House of Horrors, was forced to face Michelle in court.
You brutalized me, you terrorized me. You left me mentally and emotionally crippled beyond words or expression.
Oh, he was arrogant, he was rude, he was mocking me and making fun of me.
He was belligerent.
Right. And he was not going to give up. He was not going to be quiet.
Everybody knows about the 10 other victims, so I'd like to know where their bodies at.
He was not only rude to the 2 victims when they tried to testify, he was rude to the judge, and that didn't work out well for him. The judge gave him the maximum sentence.
And doesn't obviously have any remorse whatsoever.
Vance Roberts is convicted on 24 counts, including first-degree kidnapping and rape. He's sentenced to 108 years with no chance of parole.
It was a very quick verdict.
Yet Roberts refuses to say what happened to the other women in the photos, or where his brother Paul Jackson, his creepy partner in crime, might be hiding.
Lots of people thought Paul Jackson was dead.
But U.S. Marshal John Moody was still determined to get his man.
One of the things we say is they have to get lucky every day. We only got to get lucky once to track down a fugitive, and that's what happened in this case.
Up next, authorities finally get a tip.
He needed help to stay under the radar.